Style has long been an obsession, a compulsion, a religion for the youth of Britain. Every generation provides its own sartorial tribes, who find empowerment and excitement through new looks and different beats. From Doc Martens and two-tone, to jelly shoes and American jazz funk, all the way to Supreme and Odd Future. These disparate scenes come together to tell the story of an alternative Britain. A Britain that has defiantly rejected the culture that it has been offered to create something of its own.
The most desirable thing right now is I guess like what is the most desirable thing?
Spray paint the walls, trash the halls.
Much in the same way that the two-tone kids looked to the 60s and the soul boys looked to the America of the 70s, this as-yet unnamed youth tribe worship at the altar of the recent past. These new streetwear fiends are obsessed with the 90s aesthetic, the Creole gold of American R&B, with the Moschino and Versace pieces worn by the original junglists, and the supreme lean of Larry Clark's Kids and Spike Jonze vids.
The appeal of high fashion for my generation is that, like, pretty much everyone wants to wear the same thing. They want to, like, own the same thing. The lifestyle of it's kind of, like, changed. It's too, like, competitive nowadays. Everyone kind of, like, wants to be, like, the biggest, like, reseller and, like, make the most money and, like, or, like, have the most, like, stuff. And it's just too, like, complicated. It's all about money, I guess, isn't it? Like, if you have the money, then you can get it. Supreme, like, one of its, like, main things is, like, bringing fashion and music, like, together as, like, one.
He was smiling through his own personal hell.
They do, like, collaborations with, like, artists like Lou Reed here, 3-6 Mafia, Dipset's here somewhere. Yeah, here.
Welcome to New York City.
Found out like about some of these people just through Supreme, and then just like brought their like CDs or like searched them up on the internet, as well as like them collaborating with like artists like Damien Hirst, Christopher Wall, Marilyn Minter. They just done like a collab with like Daniel Johnson, who like I'm a really big fan of. Yeah, Larry Clark, like I've seen all of his films. I guess it's like kind of wants to like relive like that film like Kids, doesn't it? It's all based on like the 90s, I guess, yeah. But most people just don't know that, they just follow the hype.
But it isn't just big brands that dictate this new youth aesthetic. This is a generation that has grown up with the internet, and they're using it to create a new culture with its own codes and idiosyncrasies.
So I was at my friend's yard, and we were just chilling, and my friend was like, hey, watch this video. And me and my friends just crowded around the laptop. The visuals were Nintendo, Pokemon cards, and there was anime, with some Arizona iced tea, just dancing around like this, rapping about being emotional, being sad, being a teenager, you know, with your woes and stuff like that. And we just kept on watching videos and videos, trying to find out who he is and what he's repping. My friend saw on Tumblr, so we were looking on Tumblr all night. We're just like, who's Young Lee?
So you're the boy from Sweden that a lot of people are buzzing about. Do you want to talk about where you're from and what effect that has on your music?
I'm from Stockholm in Sweden, and I don't think it has any effect on my music at all.
Sad Boys is the Swedish collective that he's from.
Obviously, he's only 18 or 19 now, so a lot of people could relate to it and liked what he was doing. He also kick-started off like the polo caps and the North Face coats, which everyone started wearing. Yeah, bucket hats.
These young style fanatics aren't just blind consumers. They've created their own economy, using new technologies to trade rarer, less available pieces with each other, making the high street look more redundant than ever.
There's pockets of different communities.
Yeah, I guess you could say that. I think it's because of the clothes that you wear and the music you kind of listen to. And main things for me were like brands like loads of Moschino, Burberry, as much stuff I could get my hands on. Everyone's just buying the big brand stuff for so cheap and then kind of relaying it. And buy something on eBay for like £15 for like a Versace top. Then when you're kind of broke, you just sell it on Depop. Depop's a selling site. I would say it's like eBay, but a lot of younger people are using it. See a lot of people selling one-off pieces that you can't get anywhere else. People follow you, like they find your Instagram or your Twitter, and from there they go onto your Depop. It's this Moschino dress. I recently put this up and someone wanted to buy it for like £90. I paid about €30 for it.
But this is far from nostalgia or appropriation. It's simply how youth culture works. They move forward by looking back to create something which is informed by the past, but utterly of the present.
Since consumerism existed, people have been moaning about teenagers. People will always want things. They'll always want the newest things. They'll always want the latest things. It's just shifted a little bit, and instead of me buying a t-shirt because like Method Man's wearing it, it's just ASAP Rocky now. It keeps evolving, and that's what's fun. And what really is the change is the technological innovations that facilitate their consumerism.
It's easy to say that youth culture is dead. Nothing more than a middle-aged fallacy. Today we mature earlier and remain younger for longer. These are confusing times to be young, but simply a different set of complications to deal with. It is still just as important for youth to define itself against the confines of adolescence.
It was all about kind of that real feeling of getting away from your parents, wearing what you want to wear and doing just what you want to do.
I mean, most of us are really good kids. And, just enjoying ourselves, having a bit of a drink and generally admiring each other's scooters.
It was something where you kind of travel to get together with other people.
The streets of Britain will always be filled with young people finding solace from their circumstances with music and style. The enduring appeal of these style tribes is that as young people, they give us something else other than what we're offered, something to call our own.
When you add all the elements, all the social elements and the whole spectrum of all the nuances that make up a human being, from their parents to the society to their neighbours to the politics, you know, I do think, you know, you are created, a big percentage of you, by your society until you're old enough to sort of go through and find your own thoughts and own feelings.
No, my parents don't really care that much. They don't like it because they don't know what the hell I'm, you know, they don't see any future in it. You know, it's just, it's not what you wear, it's the way you are.
Every sort of new look is just a recreation of another period. It was just opening yourself up to things that people hadn't done before. We wanted to look different. We really wanted to look different. People will say, oh, you're putting yourself into a box, but you're not. You're being an individual, but you're being your own version of it.
Are you obsessed with style? Is that such a big thing in your life?
It's like my code in a way. It gives something to my life.
It's very much.
It's not a big deal at the same time. You know, there are higher things to think about, but I like clothes.
Yes, you're going to look perfect, but it's perfect in your way, and therefore it's that how people wanted to replicate and embrace this newness, which was being put together in a way that British kids weren't putting it together.
I will not have anything without the right logo at the moment.
All the people that top casuals met, they buy it up and then they sell it straight away.
It's good for dancing, Tony. It's got more rhythm to it.
It's that thing of kind of having nothing but looking like $1 million.
There's a kind of sharpness of wit, you know, the way you danced, if you could pull the girls, you know what I mean? All these things were like just teenage rites of passage, really.
Basically, it's just world domination.
Every young person thinks they invented punk, and then they see the new people taking it over, and resistance happens, I think. And you see it in the cycles that are going on now.
I didn't second guess the market. I didn't second guess the zeitgeist. I just thought, this is what I want to represent as a young person. I want to show that I am, you know, clean and tidy and stylish, but I'm a rebel. All those words are kind of cliches with growing up and wanting to kind of break out and define something for yourself, even though generations did it before. When you get older, you recognise that.
Aside from the music and the clothes, these subcultures teach us about belonging, about a sense of community and fraternity, about expressing ourselves, about culture, identity and bravery, usually at a time in our lives when it seems the world won't listen. Being young in Britain has never been easy, but being part of a tribe makes it a lot more fun.